All right, so I want to start out first. Got to give a shout out to Joseph Biden. As soon as we were setting up to go in the air, he passed the 80 million vote total. I mean, you could say that maybe people weren't exactly voting for Biden, but 80 million people voted against Trump.
80 million.
80 by November 3rd. 80 million people said the fuck out.
And now, like, Trump is really worried. If I'm going to share this clip, this is ABC. This is like official, news source, I guess, because they still kind of allowed in the White House. So, like, secret. You already heard what happened with the coronavirus in the Secret Service. Like, he pretty much was giving the Secret Service COVID-19. So many of the Secret Service was getting sick, protecting him. He sealed them all up in that presidential Cadillac they drive around. That is sealed for like biological attack. So
yeah, it seals in the biological attack from the person sitting in the car.
so now
seals in all the freshness.
It deals all like the Trump freshness that he sprays out of his armpits and his nose. So like now Secret Service members are, do we have to protect Trump in Florida now? AKA, do we have to protect him behind bars? So this is what's happening. Because Trump, when he got elected, people don't realize he pretty much left New York City, became a resident in Florida when he got elected. So the vote in Florida.
Do you remember the day after the election, and then people were like protesting outside Trump Tower?
Yeah,
he knew right then, like, yeah, we can't do this.
You know what's happening? NYPD is also expecting 56th Street adjacent to Trump Tower to reopen the traffic, easy Midtown congestion. So pretty much they're gonna reduce the footprint around Trump Tower and let people have their way with that building now. So that's gonna
people are gonna be crop dusting farts walking past. Yo, I'm saving up.
So police sources told NBC that come January 21st, the New York Police Department is planning to work with the Secret Service to reduce the law enforcement footprint around Trump Tower, Manhattan, since it will no longer be Trump's primary residence. So people live in Trump Tower. I don't know about what you're going to do with that. So they're not really clear how permanent residency of Donald Trump and Melania Trump could change that. So he may not be there.
Still be living there, but you know he might be seeing a cell somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, and she's not the type to like wait for her man while he's in prison. She's out, son. She's ghosting on him.
So so he's this is Trump right now. He's really worried about. So I'm going to play this video to give you more context. If Phil can play this clip about all these tsunami of shit that's going to fall on him when he leaves the office January 21st.
The world without special privileges and immunities of the presidency. And while President Trump has often been at the center of numerous lawsuits, tonight we take a closer look at the wave of legal jeopardy that could be on the horizon.
Everyone's using that wave, tsunami, earthquake, fracking, earthquake.
Legal test. Here's Devin Dwyer.
I just wish that Alex Trebek was here for this episode of Jeopardy.
For years, Donald Trump used the presidency as a legal shield.
The worst presidential harassment in history.
But outside the White House, a new reality awaits.
He's an ordinary citizen.
Handcuffs.
The worst presidential harassment. I think the presidents that got killed while in office. I think the ones that were assassinated might have something to say about that.
No former president has ever been criminally investigated or charged with a crime. But Trump will leave office implicated in multiple active investigations.
All the people around him have been arrested.
Before the presidency.
There are credible allegations that Donald Trump has engaged in tax fraud, bankruptcy fraud, probate fraud, and that's unprecedented.
Fraud.
He did fraud and fraud. He tried vote. He's been trying to do voter fraud.
Presidential criminal conduct follow a president after he leaves office.
In New York, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance is leading a criminal probe into Trump's business practices. While Vance has not spelled out specific allegations of wrongdoing,
he's looking.
Years of Trump's
You're looking at for charges.
Last summer, the U.S. Supreme Court said Trump did not have immunity from subpoenas.
And there's no reason for the president's accounting firm, Mazars, or former accounting firm, to resist those subpoenas anymore.
How critical are those documents? What could they show?
The tax returns would be important, for Cyrus Vance to explore, but probably triangulating those tax returns with other sources of financial information that he's been able to obtain or is still trying to obtain.
Trump is the first president in 40 years to refuse to release his taxes. According to the New York Times, decades of Trump's tax return data it obtained
it's like a blank
appears
form
to show
that
the
says
billionaire
taxes.
businessman paid no federal income tax in 10 of the last 15 years.
I might as well be
Starting
his
in
taxes to show a
2010,
blank
claimed
form.
an income tax refund of $72.9 million, which
What?
the Times says is now at the center of an IRS audit.
You get that,
Hey,
you get
like,
that
how
back.
you getting a
And you'll see
refund
that
on money you
as
didn't
soon
pay?
as my tax return. It's under audit, and they've been under audit for a long time. The IRS does not treat me well.
The Times also reported Trump has more than $300 million
Wow.
in debt coming due in the next 4 years, on top of $100
You
million
better watch those
tax payment
kneecaps.
due in 2022, and potentially $100 million more if he loses his refund battle with the IRS.
The amount of money, $400 million, is a peanut.
Trump's financial
It's a
records
peanut.
are also at the center of
About to have a
New York
rain
State
shower of subpoenas.
investigation into possible
About to
financial
be a lot of
fraud.
subpoenases.
It's alleged by former Trump personal attorney Michael Cohen.
It was my
He went to jail.
experience that Mr. Trump inflated his total assets when it served his
Wow, his
purposes.
own
Such as
fucking
trying to be
lawyers
listed
telling on him,
amongst the
son.
These
wealthiest
lawyers are
people in
sweating
Forbes
and they're going to.
and
Yo,
deflated
that's
his
some snitch
assets
nine shit right there,
to
son.
reduce his real estate taxes.
New York State Attorney General Letitia James is actively investigating Cohen's claims.
Like
The outcome
actively.
of the election will have no impact on our investigations. And so we will continue
I'm not surprised you
our
spelled the name wrong.
investigations, again, related to the testimony of Michael Cohen. No one is above the law, and that our investigations
botched
have
her name.
nothing to
God
do with
damn.
politics.
Even
but
though
more
she's
to
about to
do
land in some
with the,
historical shit.
facts.
Their aggressiveness
No,
in seeking
Trump is
additional
about to land in some
information
historical shit.
is indicative of the seriousness with which they're treating the allegations and of their conviction that the investment of resources will prove worthwhile.
Legal experts say Trump will soon likely face new subpoenas for documents and testimony. He last gave a deposition in 2016, just before winning office, in a civil case he brought against a former business partner.
So there won't be less police
So there
officers
simply
there
is no
around Trump Tower
immunization
now.
for a former president whatsoever. And we could
That's part of
actually see
defunding the
something we
police.
have never
Defunding the
seen
police.
before in this country, which is the criminal trial of a former president.
And Trump's also facing fallout from allegations of sexual misconduct dating back decades. E. Jean Carroll, a former Elle magazine writer, claims Trump raped her in a Bergdorf Goodman
Oh my
dressing
God.
room in the mid-90s. No charges were brought, but after President Trump accused Carroll of lying, she sued for defamation. A federal judge this week said the case can go forward.
Holy
I have
shit.
no idea who this woman is. This is a woman who's also accused other men of things, as you know. It is
A lot of women
totally
have accused
false
him, so-
accusation.
Suffice it to say that his
And
lawyers
he was dancing with Jeff Epstein, looking at him biting his lip with
Look
Jeff
at all the
Epstein.
people that hated Obama because he wore a tan suit.
He was biting his lip with Jeff
There's
Epstein.
also a new lawsuit from within his own family. Niece Mary Trump filing suit in September, alleging her uncle Donald fraudulently kept her from a financial stake in the family's business. The president has called his niece an opportunistic disgrace.
To be disinherited, to be shut out entirely from the wealth of the family was to be
She would look like
told
him if she had that
quite
comb over.
explicitly that you don't count and you are not loved.
As he enters the post-presidency, Donald Trump
Well,
facing an
Donald Trump doesn't love
unprecedented
anybody
array
except
of
himself, though.
challenges.
Yeah,
So
he let his-
don't take it personal.
He tried to steal from his father. He let his brother die in a
I will
hospital.
not interfere with the Justice Department's judgment of whether or not they think they should pursue the prosecution of anyone that they think has violated the law.
I do believe that the Justice Department will be very leery of bringing
Yeah,
prosecutions
Joe is going to
of
go
a
to
former
sleep when them
president,
charges for Trump
especially
drop.
when
You're like, yeah, remember that Sleepy Joe thing?
Remember those
Yep.
took a-
I'm taking a nap
by
when they
that
charge you.
former president.
Regardless, President Trump has floated the idea of preemptively pardoning himself,
And yes, I do have an absolute right to pardon myself.
a right not
Because
spelled
I've
out in the
committed crimes.
Constitution and never
Yeah.
tried before.
Who
It
would-
also does not apply to state
If he pardons
investigations
himself, that'd
like
be
the criminal
crazy.
probe in New York.
Criminal cases, by and large, move somewhat quicker. And they're the ones that carry with them at least the potential for prison time.
So a pardon from himself or from his vice
It looked like he was
president would go
surprised
no
by his
distance at
laptop's
all
camera.
to exonerating him or immunizing
Like
him
laptop
against
cameras
those
just like
state
in his
legal
nose.
proceedings.
Not really, like,
Proceedings now
in his
gaining
face.
steam
Like I was like,
as Trump's former hometown becomes ground zero for his legal
Trump is
battles
in trouble,
the years
people.
ahead.
Like, can you put the
For ABC
laptop
News Live, I'm Devin
laptop down
Dwyer
a little
in
bit?
Washington.
Our thanks to Devin.
So there you go. Trump is like, his own family is coming after him. All these like, people he owes money from all around the world is coming after him. So that's going to have a heavy influence whether he gets a conviction. It's about he got impeached, but it's about if it lands a conviction, it'd be like celebration in the streets if he lands a conviction of Trump. That's if that happens, But
I think
anything.
that's what annoys me
Yeah.
the most when I look at these things, and it's like people were like trying to tear Obama down because he wore a tan-colored suit.
Remember that?
This
Yeah.
motherfucker has like fucking tax and fraud and rape, and I'm pretty sure he's got some other
way
shit
more
that people
stuff we
gonna-
don't know about. Yeah.
Like,
stuff we don't know. The unknown unknowns.
The thing is, like, don't be surprised if you see treason.
Yeah.
If the treason charges come out at some point in the future because of some dealings that he had with politicians from countries that aren't particularly friendly with the United States and the interests of the United States. Like they said, oh, Trump's got some secret accounts in China while he's railing against China. While he's railing against China, like I don't understand that. Like that's some wild. That's
And he
shit,
owes
man.
taxes in China. Like he's such garbage guy. He has accounts in China and he owes money there too. So it's like this is a disaster everywhere.
What president have you ever heard say, "I can pardon myself"? That was innocent.
So we have Brian coming in the Facebook chat. Shout out to Twitch, Facebook coming in the trash. Brian that says he cannot excuse his even Turnbull even puts up COVID-19. The fact he has almost 250,000 people are dead. Him as president,
I think like close to 260,000.
260,000 people is dead. He's golfing. He's out there golfing. He can't even golf that well.
He did do a press conference that lasted 63 seconds.
So I don't even know golf that well, but he's standing there kicking the dirt. It don't look like you're golfing that well, So that's the B-roll I saw of him. Instead of dealing with 260,000 people dying, so he should hopefully get charges or something like that for The Hague. I don't know, man. But I want to go out to Brian. Brian is pretty much Twitter. Hate speech to harm people on Twitter with his codes.
He's gonna
all
delete
kinds
that
of
account.
things. Yeah, the hate. Oh, even the Twitter stuff, the hate speech. How many people went out there and killed people because they listened to him for the past 4 years? You
can't really blame him and say that he's legally liable. I'm talking about the shit that he's just legally liable for.
Yeah.
He went out. He gave a public declaration encouraging his voters to go out and commit felonies, like actual election fraud, which one of his lawyers, I don't know if you saw this, one of his lawyers just admitted to voter fraud, and he brought it up in court. And it's like, okay, where are the handcuffs? Like, you just committed a felony. He said that, he did some illegal shit with some in-person absentee ballots. And it's like, you committed a felony. What more can you say about Donald Trump that hasn't already been said about Afghanistan? Bombed out and depleted.
Well, that's not on Netflix anymore, so people are not going to get that reference.
We'll get into that.
So that's put out 2020. Shout out to Twitch and Facebook for tuning into that. And we also have clips on YouTube. We have on act.tv, we have over 40,000 subscribers, over 44,000 subscribers on YouTube. Follow that, and that's Vote Out 2020.